on Bandolero. My thought is that the 7 would have to go to the back of the pack, but we'll wait and see what happens with our officials. We do have 2 races inside of each other with the mini cups inside of the Bandoleros. So this time it looks like Rebecca Doobie, in fact, is going to be put to the outside again. Now, if Edwards has trouble, this could be trouble for Rebecca Doobie because we saw how fast Harley was. This is going to be a tough restart for Rebecca Doobie. Hopefully she could somehow find a way around the outside of that 7 car. We know that the 7 car should be faster off the line when we go green.
6 laps to go here at Madera Speedway in round number 4 for the Mini Cups and Bandoleros. And as they come off of turn 4, Jeffrey Erickson brings us to the green with Caden Cordova on the outside. Nathaniel Edwards just behind them. Erickson pulls away right away. Now let's keep an eye on what happens for second place between Edwards and Cordova.
Yeah, they are side by side right behind our leader. You'll see him now going down into 3. You see the body panels moving around a lot on this 37 car as well. You see that panel work really flapping around.
And once again, look, Nathaniel Edwards had no problem with the speed, but then he got to the corner and it just didn't turn out back.
Maybe there's something with the steering. Maybe he ran over a curve or something and has damaged some steering, or something is bent during the race on that steering internally on that car. But he was really struggling. Cordova has got to second and is starting to pull away by about a car length a lap at the moment from Nathaniel Edwards. And of course, Erickson is just driven into the zip code down the road to them. He will be helping Olivia. Olivia is a new part of our crew here at Madera Speedway, former junior late model racer, also a runway model.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So,
aspiring supermodel as well.
I think Stephen's pretty tall. She's
almost as tall as Stephen, yeah.
She is almost as tall as Stephen.
Olivia towers over me, and that's not an easy thing to do, so. There you see Jeffrey Erickson up out of the car. And he will celebrate. Of course, this will be his 4th consecutive win to start the year. And brother Bradley finally broke through in the junior late models in round 3 and then turned around and was fast timed tonight out back.
And is the new points leader in the junior late models.
And we'll have the junior late model race coming up for you here. I would say probably 45 minutes or so, as long as the Legends race goes as planned. And
so this has been a good season for the Erickson family here at Madera. Both their cars are leading the track championship points.
Of course, 23 car down there. They're part of the TJ Clark, Spencer Clark development program. And, of course, Spencer Clark was a aspiring star race car driver out on the West Coast who lost his life, unfortunately, in a traffic accident towing a race car across the desert in New Mexico. And his father, TJ, a longtime racer in the NASCAR Truck Series in its early years, and was super competitive there. And now the Clark family trying to help carry on Spencer's name.
Race tonight. Caden, this is the highest you've finished all season. How does it feel?
Good, especially because last time I got black flagged, didn't know that if you caused 3 cautions, you would get back flagged, but kind of just ended up pretty mad, but that definitely made up. So.
Now, this is Chrissy Young's old car, correct? What kind of inspiration does she give you driving a junior late model?
Just keep fighting no matter what, and no matter what happens, just keep going.
That was Caden Cordova finishing second in the Bandolero race tonight.
Caden Cordova in second place here in the 37 car, and that's a strong run for Caden Cordova, who's going to move into second place in points out back after the issues that Joey Keneally had. And for Caden, that is actually his first podium finish of the year. So he's going to jump up to second in points, finally gets onto the podium, comes home in second place. Strong run for that 37 car with DJ Safety on the hood and on the sides. Big-time, long-time friend and supporter here at Madera Speedway and the DJ Safety Fire and Safety crew. I know that I have worn DJ Safety products in my race cars my entire life, and Big Ben and Donna and everybody down there at DJ and DC.
There's Main Street Music, Hip Renovations, and Paris Printing, and my family. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, and my grandparents, oh, and my sisters, and happy anniversary, Mom and Dad.
Rebecca, have you ever thought about where you want to go or move on to after your Bandolero?
I don't know where I want to go next. I know I want to keep racing.
That was Rebecca Doobie, who finished first in tonight's race.
Well, this young lady's season is rolling on real nice, but today, I tell you what, Jason Gowan, she had some competition today from Harley Keneally. This is probably the best run we've seen from Harley in her mini cup career.
Certainly a great job by Harley Keneally. Stayed right there with Rebecca Doobie towards the end of that race, and even had a chance to take the lead at one point. And Olivia Mankey is down there now with our second place finisher in the mini cups.
Harley Keneally, who finished second in the Bandolero mini cup race tonight. Harley, this is your highest finish this year. How does it feel to have already finished second?
It feels pretty good. Just need a fix on the restarts. We got the car down. Last couple races haven't been the greatest for us. Just happy to get it back in one piece.
Now, last race you did have a bad accident, and were you injured in that accident at all?
I hurt my hand a little, but it's fine now. It's just a little hurt.
That was Harley Keneally, who finished second in the mini cup race tonight.
Well, interesting from Harley Keneally, increase in the car count in the Legends of the Pacific. Unfortunately, we had some drivers that have moved up to late models. We've had some drivers that have moved out of state in our Legends of the Pacific, and we have a whole crop of new drivers. We have some drivers that are very experienced in this race, some new drivers. So this will be a mix of experience and new talent. And I think we're in for a very, very good Legends of the Pacific race tonight.
Yeah, Legends cars, for those of you who follow along maybe with us here at Madera but have never seen a Legends car before, because this is not historically one of the classes that we feature here with the live streams and MAV TV broadcast. These are a car that were developed out of the Charlotte area. H.A. Humpy Wheeler ran Charlotte Motor Speedway for a long time. Came up with this idea with the 600 Racing folks and INEX, and you had that Legends and Bandoleros also came from the same thought process here. You have both roadster and coupe body styles, but they're all based on the old 40s Fords, and here we are, right? These are motorcycle-driven race cars, Andy, motorcycle engine-style-driven race cars.
Yep.
They run 1,200cc engines, and boy, they
Rear ends,
just
I believe,
boogie.
rear ends are from an early Toyota, rear end in them.
Little tiny tire
yes.
that has grooves on it, so it's
Yes.
not even a slick with that little tiny tire. And as you will see here, especially around a track like this at Madera Speedway, where you're going to be on the brake pedal hard and then having to slam on the throttle coming up out of the corner, you will really see these drivers have to drive these race cars. These cars can be driven as hard as any race car in America, but they also live on the flippant edge.
Yep, and they're fairly unique too. They have the roll cage as part of the door, and the door actually opens. So you have these as the Legends of the Pacific Legend cars. They run on pavement. The dwarf cars, which is their row, is row number 9, and the 77 of Casey Phillips finds herself on row number 9, all on her own down there. That is our lineup for the Legends of the Pacific. Of course, Legends of the Pacific is the West Coast version of the Legend Car Association. Mike David actually runs this whole deal now, and he's growing the car count back in the Legends of the Pacific, so that is good to see that we're getting forward progress in these cars, because they have been a feeder to our late models in recent years, and a good feeder as well for late models.
Mike David, of course, if you're unfamiliar with the name out there, a legend in the West Coast stock car
Former
world.
NASCAR West champion,
Yes.
Mike David, in the when he was racing the Bennett Lane Winery.
One of the best drivers in that series history in his heyday was Mike David.
The battle with Eric Holmes and Mike David was pretty legendary.
Indeed, yeah. And Mike David has had a successful career not only in business but also in the racing parts world.
Yeah, has a parts business in Modesto where they sell parts and chassis and put cars together, and you'll see a lot of our late models and all the parts are supplied by a lot of the cars here by Mike David at David's Racing Products. So Mike doing a good job, and now getting involved with the Legends and supplying all the parts for the Legend cars. So we're looking forward to seeing this over the next couple of years, really growing the Legend cars back. I remember when they used to come here with 30 plus cars in a race, and sometimes we'd have a B main for these Legend cars.
And I think you're going to see, we saw this in the heat races too, but I think you're going to see a point here that's going to remind you a little bit of dirt track racing, where they're going to let them kind of wind it up, and you're going to think, what are they, like wheel packing or something? It's just letting them get some heat in the tire. Everybody slowed back down, and now they will set the field and double them up. And we'll get ready to go for 35 laps here on the 3rd mile at Madera Speedway. And I want to say thanks to a group of sponsors that have helped put this event on: Hacienda Pools and Rick Rosmarski, Clean Blast Abrasives with Tim Spurgeon, L5 Farming, Nut Up Industries, of course, the sponsor of our Pro Late Model Series here at Madera, and Performance Race Graphics, and Mike Soyseth, who has put up $100 for the hard charger here tonight. Now, that might not be fair because Mike starts 15th, so he's like a prime candidate to win his own $100, right? Like, we got to tax him on that? How's that work? If you win your own award, like, do you get taxed on that, Outback?
I'm not sure.
Man, I thought you were the accountant here, Outback.
No.
Come on.
One name that I did see down there, you called out Tim Spurgeon. We haven't seen Tim. Tim's a long-time late model racer, a pretty good late model racer too. Haven't seen Tim racing late models in a while. Was a good, hard-charging racer.
But great to see him helping sponsor one of the series out here.
Exactly.
All right, here we go. 35 laps. Legends of the Pacific.
And Cameron is coming after the number 10 Sea of Kali now.
Yeah, the paint scheme's reversed. Green and black for Carly, black and green for Cameron. Carly leads again. Cameron Austin started in 8th place and powers into the lead down the back straight. We got a spin in turn 1 and our first caution of the night, Outback.
Yes, we do. We got a car around and just trying to pick a number up on that car that is turned around. I think it's the 22, I believe. Maybe.
It's hard to read, and here we go.
Is it 28?
It's even hard to read here on our Map TV cameras.
28 it is.
28.
It's the Stearns car, Michael Stearns. So he'll get back going. That number is very, very hard to read.
Now we know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a white blob. They don't have it stenciled out wide enough with the numbers on it. So the leader of the pack right now is Carly Austin. Of course, Cameron Austin also races modifieds as well. Cameron's a pretty good modified racer. And
I don't know if that's an official who came running over to check on Borchers. They were awfully concerned. It was a big, big hit right here at the start-finish line.
Right front wheel is laying over, so it's obviously got suspension damage to the right front of that car. Like you say, that was a hard hit into the K-rail, and you can kind of see the black marks down there where the 65 cars climbed that K-rail.
It's actually
So-
hard to see on our camera shot here because the
See, the wheel
UTV is in
laying
the
over
way. Yeah,
here.
there's a great shot from our MAV TV crew. That right front wheel, as you mentioned, out back, laid over. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that right front's laid over, and I think that's the prettier side of the race car.
Yeah, back together.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And Wyatt Sansom's door has also swung open on the 12 car. And so it looks like Wyatt Sansom's race will come to an end as well. Like I said, Wyatt got a big piece of that as well. That was not a light hit for the 12 car by any
Looks like
means.
he's got a crew member going over to look at that. Either that or it is either a crew member or somebody from the Legends of the Pacific. And it looks like the 65 car, we're going to have to lift this car completely four wheels off the ground.
Wyatt Sansom is out of the 12 car walking around, and we should update you because it was a big hit. Blake Borcher's okay in that 65 car. They're just trying, as you mentioned, out back, trying to figure out how they're going to get that race car off the track.
Well, they
that
got
car
the
is not in
claws.
a rolling position right now.
They got the claws running right through the car, so they're going to lift this on the roll cage, lift this car up in the air and get all four wheels off the ground, I think, on this car. This severe steering and suspension damage.
I mentioned before this race out back, these cars are fast, wicked fast. Wyatt Sansom going over and talking to Blake Borcher, saying, I don't know what that conversation was like. As I mentioned, Borcher's was visibly distraught. And boy, you got a good shot there.
Yeah,
I told you
get
the
a
right
good
front
shot.
looked better than the left front, didn't I? Boy, that is so unfortunate to see for Blake Borcher's.
It's to me a complete new suspension on the 65 car. That's if it didn't get the continue. Really not sure what happened to the Clement car. That's unusual. Normally those guys are very, very reliable. He pulled out right at the early stage of this event as the Austins line up, and it will be Carly to the inside, Cameron to the outside.
And we're coming back to the green here with 29 laps remaining in the Legends of the Pacific main event here at Madera Speedway. 6 laps down. The Austin siblings on the front row. That is Carly on the inside. And brother Cameron from the 8th starting spot to the lead on the outside. Green flag back in the air here at Madera, and Cameron jumps right back out in front.
Well, that $100 right now is looking good to Cameron Austin as he takes the lead going down the back section into nice right turn. He has a very, very nice ride, and that extra $100 would certainly be nice riding in his pocket when he goes back to Santa Rosa.
Fast Eddie Garoni on the inside and making the move on Carly Austin into second, bringing the 7 of Nick Halen with him.
Yep. Nick Halen's one of the fast racers in this Legends of the Pacific. Now, Carly pushes up the racetrack, and Brendan Rusbowski now gets to the inside of the 10C car. There's a good battle here between Fast Eddie Garoni and Nick Halen, and I'm sure this is going to be a great battle for many, many laps. 2 very, very fast races here at Madera Speedway.
A couple of highlighter yellow door numbers there for the 31 of Garoni and the 7 of Halen. And Eddie Garoni's got to be looking in the mirror at Halen, but also keeping his eyes on the prize in front, and that is Cameron Austin, who is starting to open up a lead. And here's Halen to the inside of Garoni in 1 and 2. Garoni with the preferred line for now, but boy, Nick
Eddie Garoni and Cody Winshaw.
Cameron Austin took the lead 10 laps ago from his sister Carly, but now it's in trouble, and a spin right in front of Austin. And boy, a great job by the leaders.
Yellow's out.
Cameron Austin and Nick Halen both had to do evasive action to miss the 77 of Casey Phillips. Phillips was running at the back of the pack, went into turn 1, got up the track, locked the rear brakes up, turned it sideways, and the 2 leaders both had to hang a right turn in the middle of a left-hand corner.
Not good. Things can go wrong when that happens. Anyway, so the 77, she will join the back of the pack where she was. And Cameron Austin now has company, and it is company he did not want to see on a restart in the way of Nick Halen.
Yeah, we have a battle for the lead officially underway here out back, and we are halfway through this race, or will be officially once we take the green flag on the restart here. So
yeah,
17 down, 18 to go, as they're going to double them up, and we'll go green next time around, and it's going to be Cameron Austin and Nick Halen, 1 and 2, with Fast Eddie Garoni and Cody Winchell on row 2.
And that $100 so far would go to Cam Austin right now. But I tell you what, if this might be a tie, if Halen can get the win. I don't know who they would give that to. Probably Halen, because he wins the race and finishes in front.
Halen slides in behind Austin, gives him the old bumper off of turn 2. Cameron Austin able to pull away.
And Winchell gets
Cody
around
Winchell
the outside
into third, and he's trying to
Eddie.
bring Rosbarski in the 51 as well around Fast Eddie, but the battle's for the lead. Halen took a look,